I hope everything, everybody's okay, right? I'm just recording this session.
Okay.
It can be useful for any other participants
Sure.
who have either missed it because of their busy schedule or something like that. Okay. So we'll just get started. We have Mr. Rick from Toll Brothers. He's the project manager. He has executed lots of projects within Dallas area. So we requested him to just give a kind of tips and tricks, whether it is an icy conditions or snowfall. I know it's a delayed session, but we thought even for the future, exigencies, your technical and functional help in advising us would really help us a lot. So the last line is, recently we have, everybody knows that we have this snowstorm out here, very unique thing that has happened here in Dallas. Lots of communities, houses got either pipes burst or the water leak or so many things that have happened. So if you can just take over, Rick, and then help us what we should do on the before we hear any kind of icy stuff or snowstorm, and then what we should try to do during that phase of snowstorm or icy conditions, and then what we should try to do after the snowstorm, whether it is a pipe or anything, as a matter of fact. If you can just start giving us some tips.
Sure.
And tricks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I hope everyone's doing well today. I think I'll just go through what I do at my personal house and what I've done. I think that's probably the best way to go. I think the first thing that everybody needs to do when you know that freezing weather is coming is to go ahead and disconnect your garden hoses from the spigots outside. A lot of people leave them hooked up or they leave them on. And what happens is the water freezes in the hose and it backs up into the house and then bursts the line. That's a big one. And the water needs to be disconnected and shut off. And then also the spigot can be protected. It's not necessary all the time for it to be protected, but if it's getting a freeze like we had before, then yeah, you definitely can take some towels or go to the hardware store to buy a foam cover, which a lot of people do that because it's just a little easier. But I just wrap mine in a couple of towels, put a rubber band around it, and it works really good.
Outside, is it?
Outside, yeah, on the hose spigot. Yeah, that's a lot of people fail to do that. So when they, a lot of people have burst pipes right now, they don't even know. So when they go to turn on their hose, when they're ready to garden, it's going to burst in the wall, which is easy to fix for a plumber. They just unscrew it and screw it back in. There's an extension piece in the wall that usually bursts first. So that piece comes out and goes back in, but it could flood your house pretty bad if it's in a particular location and you turn your garden hose on and you don't realize that it's burst in the wall, and then you go on to water your plants and it's flooding the inside of your house. So that's really important. A lot of people have frost-proof hose bibs. They still will burst if a hose is hooked up to them. So that's one of the main things I do. Another thing you can do is check all your windows and make sure that they're all sealed up. Every 5 years, you want to paint the outside of your house and check all the caulking on the outside around the windows and around the general outside of the house. You want to make sure that that is all sealed up, still not cracked and open. Another thing that I did at my house is I added a blown insulation to the attic. Last summer, I had a company come in and I did the max. I did like R60, which is probably it's a huge amount of insulation, but it's not that expensive. It's, a couple $1,000. Sometimes it's as cheap as $1,000 to go ahead and have somebody come in and blow as much insulation in the attic as you can. It provides a loft in your home so that during the cold weather, your house is going to feel a lot warmer. And then in the summer, it'll feel a lot cooler. It's probably the best thing, most cost-effective way to improve the energy efficiency of your home. And any insulation company can do that, or you could actually do it yourself. Go to Home Depot and they have a machine that you can rent to do it, but it's kind of a messy, nasty job that a lot of people don't like to do because you have to dress in coveralls and goggles and you wear gloves and foot protection, because if it gets on you, it's real itchy. So you could do it yourself if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it. One of the things that they were recommending over this past week was to keep your faucets dripping. I did not do that at my house, but I live in a sheltered area that's not exposed. So I think it helped a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people ran out of water, because everybody was doing that. But I did not have to do that at my house. And a good thing to do is also have a wet vac available to have, go to Home Depot and just buy a wet dry vac and keep it handy in case you do have a flood. You can, vacuum it up real fast and it won't be an issue. I have one of those at my house also. I keep it in the attic. If I need it, I just run up and grab it and use it. And I guess another thing to do is that I learned at my house also is to make sure you know where your water shutoff is. A lot of people have them in the garage. But we found some that actually got frozen in the garage. So it's good to know where it is at the street. And typically those are marked by a blue spray paint mark in some of the newer cities. So it would be good to go out, maybe locate it now and maybe take a can of blue spray paint and mark that on the curb. That way you know where it is when it's covered up with snow, because usually the curb you can see it or you can find it pretty easily. If it's on your lawn and it's snow, you can't find it. You have to be digging out there for 2 hours trying to find it. So it's good to mark that. I know where mine is because I use it a lot, or I have used it a lot. But if you don't know where it is, it's very difficult to find. Another good thing is to have your gutters clean. When all that snow melts on your roof, it could actually do an ice damming, which means that it freezes down beneath in the gutters and then it doesn't let the water flow out. So the water could actually go back up underneath your shingles or underneath your tile and then go into your house. That's a possibility. So if you keep your gutters clean, it makes the water flow a little bit easier. And
on the heating side, do we need to do anything? Like, can we turn on the, what do you call, the fireplace?
Can you what?
Can we turn on the fireplace?
Yes. Yeah, I always recommend that you do have your fireplace cleaned every year by a professional cleaner, fireplace cleaner. But yeah, you can turn it on. I've had mine on the whole time. But and you probably have a heatilator fireplace, because that's what we, install in our homes. And those could actually, if you need it, I can send you instructions on how to use that during a power outage. You can actually put batteries in it underneath, and it has slots for it. A lot of people don't know that, and you can turn it on during a power outage. If you need that, I can send that to you.
Yes, please. We did. I mean, within the community itself, people have been advising one another. And then what I've noticed is some people have, some residents have put in the regular logs, the firewood. Is it advisable or we should not?
It depends on what type of fireplace you have. If it's not built for a wood burning fireplace, you cannot do that.
No, in general, in Richwoods, this community, right? Did Toll Brothers and then Landon, did they install the regular fireplace with where we can use regular firewood or no?
It depends on the fireplace. We sell different kinds of fireplaces, several different kinds. Nobody buys the wood burning ones anymore. They're just too messy, and people run out of firewood. Like if you see, I don't know if you saw, but there was a run on firewood where you couldn't even buy it. So I don't recommend the firewood. I use gas logs at my house, which is open fireplace. You can burn wood in it, but I converted it to a gas log to where it has fake gas logs in it, but it works on natural gas, and it gives out a lot of heat, and it's cleaner, doesn't make a mess, and doesn't smell. The bad thing about a wood burning fireplace is if you have your heat on, it could actually suck the smoke out of the fireplace into your house.
We have We have taken the standard model. I think it was a fake logs that are available, and it's a gas-fired one.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I think you covered excellent, Rick. Thank you so much for this, covering all the aspects outside.
You're welcome.
Before the any kind of icy thing or a snowstorm. Let's say, I mean, some residents would have forgotten to do this or something like that. Then during the snowstorm, what is that we have to take care?
So during the storm?
During the storm, for example, I mean, severe cold, and then can we open the taps, all the taps? To what extent can we open?
It really depends on, how your house is exposed. If you have outside pipes on a northern wall and there's not a whole lot of protection, a lot of trees or another house there, that would definitely open up that side of your house. It really depends on the orientation of your house, where the pipes are, and just your general, observations of what's happening in the home. So like at my house, I didn't open anything because I'm protected and I just have one pipe that's exposed, and I opened up underneath that and he got in there. So it really depends on the house, what you need to do.
Okay. And once, okay, so that we understood. I mean, some pipes within the, what do you call the internal pipes got something burst. Some residents have complained that, so they were all panic condition, right? So what is that they have to do? What is that they have to do immediately? Like,
immediately, the best thing to do is shut off your water. And that was what I mentioned before is, make sure you mark your water meter on the curb as a backup. Everybody usually has a shut off in the garage. Everybody should know where that is. But if that's frozen open, then you would definitely want to know where it is at the street.
Some residents also, I'm just trying to cover, it's not just me trying to put all the questions, they're just trying to cover the topics. And then some residents also have complained that, their, what is this, tankless water heater also had some kind of water leaks or things like that have happened. You think there is a specific reason for this?
It was just so cold. What you can do is, if you know that it is coming, is just to make sure that all your lines in your attic are insulated. You just look at the water lines on the attic, make sure the insulation hasn't been removed or has fallen off. It would even, help to go through maybe, and if we do have another situation like this, is to just go up there during the freeze and check them and make sure that, everything's running properly.
And then what we should try to do about the air conditioner, should we try to bump up the temperature inside heater?
Well, they recommended that everybody keep it at, I think it was, I'm not sure what it was, I think it was 65 or 64 during the power outages. So I would just leave it, leave it at a comfortable temperature if you can. It should be fine.
Fantastic. Now let's open for when any questions, residents, open for everybody to put any question. Let's go ahead, please. If anyone has got any specific issue, problem, or anything like that, please feel free, ask Mr. Rick.
Yeah, hey, thanks for organizing this. Like, this is a great session. So basically, in my house, what has happened is the water outlet that's connected to the AC unit that got burst, and the water leaked into the house. So this is not the inlet pipe. So there is some residual water that is left, and so what do you do for those kind of stuff?
So can you say that again? I'm sorry. You had a frozen pipe?
Yeah, there is some residual water that is left in the pipe. That is an outlet pipe that is connected to the AC unit. So that got burst, and the water leaked into the house.
Wow, I never heard that one before. The residual water. What was it? What pipe was it for?
It's the pipe that's connected to the AC unit.
Huh. So the AC unit pulls the water out of the air
Right.
while it cools the house. And
Right.
then there's a drain pipe, primary
Right.
drain pipe that goes through that. If you're running, you shouldn't have been running your AC though, but I guess if there was residual water from when you were running it, is that what the case was?
Right.
And that
We
should
weren't
be-
running the AC, but whatever water was there in it, like,
Uh-huh.
that got burst.
Wow, that's a tough one there. I mean, I don't know what you would do in that certain situation. I haven't heard that one yet either, so that's very unique. I think the only thing that I don't think there's really anything you could do about that other than maybe insulate that line. Take some pipe insulation, which is really cheap to get at Home Depot, and maybe
Okay.
wrap it and then duct tape it if you have that situation. The pipe insulations, I think it's like a R7, R9, which should help. And then if you wrap it with duct tape, it would do even more. And that's really easy to do. If you just got to be careful when you go in your attic. You don't want to, step on the sheet walker and fall through.
Yeah.
And you could hire an AC guy to do it too. It'd probably be, $100, $150 to do that. Not very much at all.
And another problem that I ran into is, the furnace fuse got blown away. So we have two heating furnaces, and one got damaged. So due to the power fluctuations, so this is the general stuff right now. I'm not sure whether there is anything to prevent that.
What was damaged?
The fuse, the
fuse.
heater furnace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unique too. I haven't heard that one either. What fuse was blown or damaged?
It's the fuse that is, that controls the heater furnace.
Oh, wow. Did you have your AC company come out and look at it?
No, I kind of called one of the private contractors, and he came and replaced that. So I couldn't wait for the actual AC guys to come over and then take a look at it.
But you got to be careful with that. Just because I always try to get the original people that worked on the system to come out. If you have somebody else come out, they could give you a wrong diagnosis, especially in an emergency like that.
Okay.
Are these things covered under any warranty, Rick?
It really depends. If you have a 2-year mechanical from when your closing date, you have a 2-year mechanical warranty on all of your systems. Something like that needs to be evaluated by the HVAC contractor to see if it's covered or not, and always use your original contractor. I would never recommend using somebody else that other than the person that installed the system. A lot of the freeze damages are not covered under warranty because they're acts of, the weather, they're acts in Mother Nature. So that would be home insurance would cover that.
So all those pipes which, because what I'm hearing from the gentleman, Mr. Sridhar, they are pretty unique problems. So in the interest of taking care of the house, protecting the house from that kind of leakages, you think changing the pipes and the quality, increasing the standards of the pipes would help?
Well, it really depends on the house and the situation. Every situation is unique, and like I said before, I'm hearing unique items on this call right now that I've never even heard of before. The fuse and the residual water, and those are all unique. So every situation is different, and it goes back to the orientation of the home and how it's the way that the direction that it faces, how much sun it gets, the exposure of the home. If it's getting, all your pipes are on the north wall, it's going to be a whole lot different than if your home doesn't have any. So.
Rick, hi, this is Sulaksh here. Can I go ahead with my question?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Rick, this is a follow-on to your previous comment on the insurance coverage. You mentioned that water heater could be covered by the home insurance company. And but as I understand, typically the insurance doesn't cover the cause of the event. They can cover the damage. But if water heater is the cause, do you think they will even cover the water heater?
I have no idea. I'm not an insurance specialist by no means. But the way that you can look at it is, say if we had a tornado or an earthquake, it would not be covered under warranty. And this is the same situation. It was a extreme weather event, but a lot of people don't recognize it as that for some reason. I think because it was a freeze and it was snow, that it might be something that normally happens around here, but it definitely is not. It hasn't happened here in 35 years. I think was the last time it got even nearly as cold as it's gotten. So you have to look at it like a tornado or an earthquake, you know, and that what would be covered under that by your home insurance. Same thing, but I'm sure everybody's policy is different. So you'd have to really look into the policy and look at the details.
Okay. So I, like multiple other residents, had an issue where my water heater broke, and a lot of water seeped through the pipes into the master bedroom closet. I have called the home insurance, and there was someone who came and inspected as well for the damages. But no one has come so far in terms of doing any work. Is there anything that I can do to check the impact? Because a lot of water could be behind the wall, behind the dry wall. So is there anything I can go ahead and do it myself?
Yeah, if you want to send me an email, I can recommend some companies that could probably help you pretty quickly. I know a gentleman that can. I don't know if you have a neighbors app for your neighborhood. I have one for my neighborhood, and I've been reading it lately, and everybody's been helping each other with contractors, and there are people available to help right now. The neighbors app is a really, really good way to find that. But if Mr. Suri has my email, if you need help with a contractor, just let me know. I can find somebody to, you know, extract the water or get it, you know, aired out. I know there's no fans left at Home Depot to rent, but there's ways to help. So if you need help, just let me know.
Sure. Thank you.
So the follow-up question for that is, are we looking at mount-related issues for these water damages?
Come again, please, Mr. Sridhar. Come again.
Yeah. So going back to the previous question, right? Like, you know, when the water seeps into the house, right? Like I had one. So I see that the wall getting dried out, right? Like, you know, it wasn't a lot of water. So, but the thing is, right, like, you know, that's all I can see is outside. So behind the wall, what's the condition is kind of very iffy to judge, right? So when we talk to the contractors, right, like, you know, how can we make sure that they are doing the right job, especially in terms of avoiding mold and all that stuff?
Yeah, if you have a leak, I mean, you really got to look at it. If it's a heavy leak, you definitely want to take the baseboards out and take the drywall out and get some air in there and then look at it. You'll be able to tell. You want it to dry out pretty fast. You definitely don't want to leave it sealed up and let that water just sit in there.
Are there any tools that can be used to test this kind of mold stuff inside the walls?
No, you pretty much have to take the baseboards off and cut the drywall to look in there. Yeah, from what that's the way if I had it at my house, that's what I would do. You know, you got to get some air in there, and you got to, you know, maybe use a solution, an anti-mold solution, and there's several of those that you could put in there.
Rick, you know, one thing which I've noticed is you've been telling north side wall pipes. So is it something, something to do with the engineering and the architecting this house here? Is that the point there? I mean, trying to keep all the pipes into one side of the house. Is it an architectural issue or
well, that's my house. My house is different. It was built in 2005. So I have copper at my house and it's all run in the slab. The way that the Toll Brothers runs theirs is we have one main water line that goes into the garage and then it goes up into the floor system and then distributes throughout the house. So some of it can go up into the attic. So you want to make sure that that's insulated and, you know, protected, because we had unprecedented freezing temperatures in our attics, and that's usually does not happen. And in our garages also. So I saw some valves that were frozen open, heated homes in the garage. So it got so cold.
Some residents also, you know, because we have an excellent community WhatsApp groups, some residents have tried to shut off the inlet from the outside, you know, on the walkway, there is an inlet, right, to the house. You think that is the best solution overall, instead of trying to do anything else going forward. Next year, for example, if a similar kind of situation happens there, is that the best solution to go shut it off quickly?
Yeah, you could do that. You just really got to watch it and just kind of monitor the weather forecast and see. I mean, that nobody does that though, and nobody is that in tune to be able to run out there and shut it off. Most people are just going to leave it on and see what happens, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But you could, I mean, yeah, you could run outside and shut it off and drain all the water out of your house if you know that it's going to be an extreme weather event, but then you won't have water,
Okay, one last point is from the points of Mr. Sridhar and other gentlemen who post. You think all those things that which are not covered by insurance companies, can they approach FEMA for coverage?
There is that way. I've been reading that you can get assistance from FEMA and your insurance. So that would be an avenue, but I'm sure every situation is different. So you really got to get with your insurance company and find out.
Hmm.
I have another question. So basically, what kind of safety equipment that you would recommend, right? Like, when we're using the fireplace during these times, right? I think a carbon monoxide detector and all those things should be there, right? So apart from, do you have any suggestions like that?
So can you say that again? Sorry.
So typically when using the fireplaces and things like that, right? Like there is a carbon monoxide hazard. So we definitely looking at having a carbon monoxide detector kind of an instrument, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have. You definitely don't ever want to use your stove or your oven to heat the house, even in an emergency, because of that situation. Even with a detector, we definitely don't want to do that. But your normal fireplace should be fine. But like I said before, if you're burning wood and you turn your heat on and the way we build these homes is they're super tight now and they don't have a whole lot of air going back and forth from the outside to the inside. So you could actually suck the smoke out of the fireplace into your home. So yeah, that's a good idea. Always to have a carbon monoxide.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Thanks, Sridhar. That's an excellent.
Okay, thank you, guys. So is this the only one that you recommend, or are there any other safety equipment that we need to buy and keep it handy?
That's a good one to have, but you should already have that, in your home already at the garage and upstairs at the attic. So if you look at next to your attic access, if you have a pull down in your house or a door, you should have one there. And then you should also have one at your entrance to your garage. So everyone has one already. But it is good to have, definitely.
Hey, Rick, on the stoves, we are seeing orange flames. I mean, I don't know, the blue flames aren't coming anymore after the storm.
I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
Okay.
Rick, one high-level question. So with all these kind of situations that have happened repeatedly, for example, right, like the snowstorms, icy conditions it is setting a pattern in Dallas. So did Toll Brothers have taken any kind of initiative steps for the future homes? Where, hey, this is what exactly is happening. So we got to change the pipes, quality of pipes, or anything else that we should be aware of, so that anybody trying to buy a new home, there are certain standards that we need to really look for.
Well, the way that you should look at it is, say a big tornado came through here and hit us. It's kind of a random, rare event. So we wouldn't start building tornado-proof homes because one tornado came through here and, leveled a few neighborhoods, or, like it did in Dallas a few, last year. Remember how it came across and destroyed a lot of homes. So those, if a home builder's going to build a house, they're not going to say, okay, now we need to build tornado-proof houses. It's the same situation. It's a very rare, unique event. Hasn't happened in 35 years. So, I mean, if it was happening all the time, then, that would be a different story. But it's very rare.
Does the buyer have any choice in terms of telling the builder, saying that, hey, man, I need this kind of quality pipes? Can we influence them and pay some extra?
I don't know you can get, if you have a custom builder, he'll do anything you want. I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of, designing the home how you want it.
Oh. Anyone else, please? Any other questions?
Time to buy a backup generator.
I think backup generators really, really good idea. I like the Tesla wall. If you have solar, those are really awesome. I mean, a lot of people, you can actually use your, if you have an electric car, you can actually use that as a backup battery in your home. If you have to have an inverter, if it doesn't have a plug, but you could actually run things off a Tesla or a BMW electric car. You could actually run things off that for quite some time. A lot of people don't realize that because they're like a giant battery or Tesla wall within themselves. So, but yeah, the generator is good, but then you got to watch out about the carbon monoxide and all that. It has to be outside, of course. And you have to wire the house specifically for a diesel generator.
Is it a good idea to have an inspection done after this type of events?
It is. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Fantastic. That is
Yep.
an excellent question. Yes.
That's an excellent, yeah, excellent idea. I would definitely recommend that if you could do that. Now, keep in mind, inspectors are paid to find things, so they're going to have to look at their reports objectively and not do everything that they say because they're going to find things. They're paid to find things. So no matter how many times you look at a house, and you'll find an item. No matter how many times you walk through a house, you'll always find something. So you have to look at his report objectively and decide for yourself which ones you want to take care of.
That's a fantastic one. I think everybody should get it done.
Yep, I have a great inspector. If y'all need, his name's Matthew Joseph. He's one of the best. He's actually an engineer. If you need his contact, he's a great inspector, one of the best. So he's very thorough.
Oh,
Rick, one question on this inspector thing. I think somebody asked earlier about the mold behind the walls. Are there tools available to these inspectors that can discover that kind of problem as well? Or is this something which needs a separate approach?
That's a good question for an inspector. I have no idea on that. I know the way we take care of it is pretty, it's not very fine tuned like that. I mean, we'll just cut the drywall open and, take care of it. We'll go right to the source and immediately take care of it quickly and efficiently, and then we're done with it. But as far as the fine-tuned discovery methods like that, I have no idea.
I mean, if you could just please share the telephone number of that inspector, that we appreciate it, Rick.
Oh yeah, I'll send you an email, Mr. Surrey, with the fireplace and his contact information.
Yes. And then anything that we need to take care on the roof, any damages, because we did not see anything. But is it a good idea to get the roof also checked?
Yeah, it always is, but the home inspector can do that for you also. So I don't recommend getting up on the roof yourself. It's very dangerous.
Rick, on the sprinklers front, what are the precautions that we need to take before the storm?
The fire sprinklers?
Yeah.
What
No,
you need
no,
to
no.
do,
All
excuse me?
the lawn sprinklers too.
Oh, the lawn sprinklers. You could hire a company to come out and weatherize them for you. I just turned mine off, is all I did. But yeah, they can come out.
Did you shut off everything?
Yeah, well, usually they have a freeze protection on them. You just turn that on. But yeah, I just turned mine off is all I did, and it should be fine.
How about the foundation water? Do we need to turn off that?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if you're having freezing weather, for sure, because you don't want all that ice around your house.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point, Srikant Garu.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did not know whether I shut off the foundation water. But
Yeah, during freezing temperatures, I would. You don't want all that ice buildup. That's for sure. But also, you should have a freeze protector on your irrigation system. That should be on.
Winter meeting problem.
All right, everybody. I've got another Zoom at 10 o'clock that I need to prepare for. I don't mean to cut it short, but I really enjoyed talking to everybody.
That's really great. Great, Rick. Thank you so much.
And Mr. Surrey, I will go ahead and send you that information that we discussed.
Kamana,
Yeah,
can we
please.
also get the recording?
yes, please. Definitely, I'll try to
Precautions
send it across. So,
Yeah.
any other questions? Anything?
How
Quickly.
can I
just
get
quickly.
how can I get the recording of this?
I'll put it in
Okay.
WhatsApp.
Maybe YouTube and share it.
YouTube. Yeah, we'll. Yeah. We'll
All
do.
right, everybody. Well, everybody have a great evening or great day. Sorry, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Hey, thank you so much, Rick. I mean, it's absolutely our pleasure having you.
Thank you, Andy.
And thank you
you.
very much.
Vasanthi garu,
Have a great
Vasanthi
day.
garu, thank you so much for the call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for everybody joining the call.